Hey, it's Ty Screams, and I'm about to give you a recap of what happened on season 46, episode 8 of Survivor. We see the castaways from the split tribal where Tim was voted out pre jury, and Ben is sad that he lost an ally. Everyone is just trying to chill, and Q is upset that everyone isn't wanting to strategize before the other tribe shows up. They do finally show up. It's to everyone's surprise that Soda was blindsided and the first person of the jury. Venus is taking all the credit and firing some shots at Tevin about his honesty, but Liz is wanting to claim the original idea for the soda vote and start to play a bigger game. The next morning, Q is trying to sell the Q skirt. Anyway, Charlie is noticing how Q is playing and wants to stay on his good side. He talks about how all the best moves are made at sunrise, and that's when him, Q, and Hunter talked about Charlie joining the Six. Charlie is then seen talking with Maria about the Six, where she thinks it's impenetrable, but Charlie is seeing the cracks. Then we get to see Q convince the tribe to play hide and seek at camp. Charlie is chosen as the seeker, and everyone hides. We then see Q talk in a confessional about how he's keeping his eyes open during this game to see who does well. If they do well, they're gonna be a threat. In the end, Ben and Hunter win because Charlie and the found castaways couldn't find them. Ben was just hiding in a bush, and Hunter was hiding in the tree above camp. Q then decides Hunter and Ben are the next targets because they can hide in plain sight. Tevin and Venus are then seen talking, and Tevin tells her that he respects the vote. Something about that statement had Venus spilling all of her information to Tevin about how she pulled it off, and Tevin is eating it up. Venus walks away, and Tevin starts cracking up in front of Liz because she's taking credit for something that he started. Liz, in a confessional, is pissed off that they're both taking credit for something that she's been saying since the beginning. Q and Tiffany are then talking, and Tiff brings up that she kind of wants to keep Venus, but maybe get rid of Maria. Because Maria is in the Six with them, Q takes that as Tiffany being disloyal and runs to Maria about it. Q tells Maria about Tiff's idol, and then decides he wants to blindside Tiff for targeting the Six. Now we get to see the classic immunity challenge, Get a Grip. Castaways must hang on a pole as long as they can. Jeff gives them an opportunity for some rice if 4 people sit and no one takes him up on that offer. They negotiate and Jeff presents another offer. 2 people lose their vote at tribal instead for the bag of rice. They still don't take the offer and everybody's competing. This is the first time in the new era that a deal has not been made. For the challenge, Q and Liz drop fairly quickly with Kenzie not too far behind. Then Ben and Maria drop and we're quickly down to 5. Several minutes pass and we see Tevin struggling a bit along with Hunter and Tiff, but Tiff drops, then Tevin. Charlie, Hunter, and Venus are all fighting for immunity, and at the 15-minute mark, Charlie starts to struggle and slips down. Venus then also starts to slip, loses her grip, and falls. After 20 minutes, Charlie slides down to the bottom and tries to negotiate again for rice. When Jeff doesn't want to make a deal, he tries to climb back up, slips, and ends up falling. Hunter, in his victory, decides to show off by flipping upside down and hanging by his feet. Bold move. Back at camp, Q was incredibly frustrated about people not sitting for rice, especially after how fast everyone fell. He still wants to target Tiff, but Liz sees Tevin as the most logical target, so she approaches Siga. Siga then disperses to get Kenzie and Tiff in on the vote. Tiff goes to Q, and Q feels like it's a fake plan, so he approaches Liz, where she confirms it. Q and Hunter then talk about how everyone has flipped, so Hunter runs to Charlie, Maria, and Liz minutes before they're supposed to leave for tribal, trying to convince them of a different vote. We then see Venus interrupting their conversation, and it seems like all hell has broken loose. But in the midst of the chaos, we do get to see Maria telling Charlie about Tiffany's idol. At Tribal, we start with the failed rice negotiation, talking about how no one wanted to sit because no one feels safe. Q then stops the Tribal and asks everyone to vote for him. Incredibly odd, and everyone is confused, but he wants to lay himself on the sword for causing so much confusion minutes before they left. This prompts a lot of whispers and no one knows what's happening. A live tribal ensues and everybody is up and talking. Charlie then spills to Tiff that he knows about her idol because Q told Maria, and she summons Kenzie about it. Time to vote, and almost everybody at the voting booth seemed incredibly annoyed. Jeff then reads the votes, and it starts with 2 votes for Venus, then 6 votes for Tevin, which is enough, and Tevin is blindsided and the second member of the jury. I don't think I can fully encapsulate how chaotic this episode was, from the hide and seek to the live tribal. In the preview for the next week, it does seem like there's going to be some fallout from Q's tribal stunt, and I cannot wait to see. Until then, be sure to like, subscribe, and tune in next week for another recap of Survivor.